Welcome to Blind Man with a Backpack in conversation with the wife.
Hello.
We drive the graveyard train through the fire and rain. We drive the graveyard train when we come calling for you.
Okay, welcome. Right, so far this series, we've delved into the impact that sight loss has on those of us experiencing it. We've talked about the ways we adapt, the challenges we face, and how we find ways to live our best blind lives. But it isn't just about us. It's easy to forget that sight loss has a much wider impact, especially on those nearest and dearest to us. And that is what today's episode is all about. So we're doing things a little bit differently this time. Instead of connecting online, I'm sat here in my little garden studio. We've got the GoPro in the corner doing a bit of filming as well. And with someone who has been there through every single appointment, every wobble, every win along the way, my wife, Kath. Together, we're going to chat about what it's really been like over the past 5 years, the laughs, the tears, the frustrations, and the moments of pure love and growth. It may get a little bit emotional, I can't make any promises, but hopefully it will get a bit silly as well. And it gives a real sense of what it means to go through these big changes. Not just as an individual, but also as a team. So welcome.
Thank you.
So let's go back to the beginning. So I remember the first time we had that little bit of a worry that something was going to happen. And that was when I'd gone for an annual checkup. You'd come into town as well with the kids, and we were going to go to Madame Tussauds.
Yeah.
I went and did my appointment, and then they had to dilate my pupils, which I didn't realise, so that was fun, then having to cross main roads in central London on my own to come and meet you. And that was after that appointment that they were like, they kept me there for a bit longer. There were lots of questions. There were quite a few things that they had to look at. And then following on from that, they wanted me to go up to a different clinic, didn't they? For a few more tests. And then after that, we then had to go and have more tests at more fields and all of that stuff. And all the way through that, it's sort of like, what's going on? What aren't they telling us? And do you remember it was that night? It all came from, there was that one night where I got back into bed, and as I got back into bed after, in the middle of the night, you sat up and you almost elbowed me in the eye, and so we thought this is what dislodged things. This is what caused the thing.
I was like, I've really hurt you in some way. And when we went to Madame Tussauds and you went for your checkup, it was sort of like, oh no, I've really damaged him, and you phoned us going, my pupils are dilated, I really need help, like now. And it was sort of this panic because I had both kids with me, and obviously having to balance William because William's autism was very up and down at that point.
Yeah.
And so, luckily your sister was with us. And so she was able to support. She was able to go and get you, and I could stay with the kids.
Yeah.
And it was sort of, and you were like, yeah, they think it's a bit more than you just elbowing me in the eye.
Yeah, it was. And of course, then we had to have the extra tests, and then we had to go through all of that piece as well. And it all happened really quickly, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, I don't remember. I remember having the test because the test was really intense.
Yeah.
This whole electroretinogram test, which is just really, really intense. But what I don't remember that appointment afterwards. I don't, that whole thing, sat in the consultant's room. That's all a massive blur. There's very little recollection of what's going on there. But the one thing that I recall, and this was obviously what you did hear and I didn't, was about me driving.
Yes, it was. Yeah, I remember him going through, these sort of waves on a computer that sort of show, right, these are your cones, these are the rods, this is what's normal, this is what yours look like. And there was definitely, you could see I'm not a scientist, but you could definitely see there was this degrading much lower level on yours.
Yeah.
And then he went into and go, you're okay at the moment, but I think in about 18 months you're not going to be driving anymore. And I think your vision had started degrading probably like a year in after the diagnosis.
I remember because I had to have that medical driving license.
Yes.
So
that
this
was a
is where
fun time.
and there was one, and I was clear, but on one eye I couldn't read, and I remember the letter that nearly got me was an E, and I will never forget that bloody E. But and that kept me going for a little bit longer, and it was still they were more than comfortable to sign me off to continue driving. But you're right, it was starting to go, and then of course, and it was just about on the money. I think it was almost 2 years between diagnosis and he said 18 months, and I think it was closer to 2.5 years, wasn't it?
No,
Really?
it was pretty much 18 months.
Okay, there we go. Because it was. I mean, it was a week after my 40th birthday.
It was. Yeah.
It was. In fact, it will be. 14th of October. So next week will be 5 years since I stopped driving.
Yeah.
But we were chatting about this, and we were obviously talking, and that was a massive thing because obviously I'm a petrol head, big fan of the cars and all of that. And I know it's weird, but I expected stopping driving to be more of an impact, and maybe it was. Maybe I just I don't remember it, but I feel that stopping driving wasn't as much of an impact as I sort of expected it to be.
I think it was small impacts of things that I saw, like when you came out of your appointment when they said you can't drive anymore. I was sat in your car, your dream car, the car that you'd always dreamt about having, owning a Jag, all of that stuff. And I'm sat in the seat of this car because we knew your pupils had to be dilated, so I did the driving. And I think at that point I was doing more driving anyway.
Yeah.
But it was when you sat in the car and you didn't even give me eye contact and you went, okay, she's yours. And it was almost, I felt like there was this pit in the stomach because I was just like, oh my God. I think it was probably not, that I think at that point I recognised that things were starting to change.
Yeah.
This is when things were going to be a bit different. And I remember the drive home, and you didn't say anything for that entire drive from Oxford.
Yeah.
You didn't say one word.
Yeah.
And it did take you a few days to kind of, process it like any human being would be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think, that was probably, I think, the first kind of an initial big change.
Yeah. 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 And see You're right. And the whole driving thing was, I as I say, I never felt that it had impacted me as badly as it probably did. I mean, it possibly drove me to more isolation. It possibly drove me to more uh, uh, it hit there with it changed me. It changed the my freedoms, if you like. But I don't. I mean, I think probably because of when it happened, I think that almost softened the blow
Yeah.
because we didn't have much freedoms at that point. It was middle of COVID pandemic.
Yeah.
Constant lockdowns, constant this, that, and the other, and so actually, it wasn't as dramatic as it could have been if it was say much more recently or happened previously.
Yeah. I think it might have had more of an impact on you. I know that probably the most impact is obviously when I had to start driving full time, I was the only driver. Is you being able to take a back seat and allow me to do the driving.
Most of the time. There are still times when I find my brake.
Yeah.
Are you sure you want to go that way? Are you sure?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. But so driving was the big thing. You take the milestones. So you got driving, you got the cane.
Yeah.
The cane. And then you got the dog.
Yeah.
And those was, I suppose, from a mobility independency type thing. Those were those kind of key milestones.
Yeah.
So, come on, tell me what from your perspective, from an outsider's point of view, looking in, what was going through your mind as these things happened?
I think looking back on it, it's really hard because obviously in the moment I was just I was on this conveyor belt or carousel of just like, okay, this is the next thing, this is the next thing, this is happening now. And I don't think for a long time, I don't think I stopped to really think about it. Now that, and every now and again I reflect on it and I think back. And I think for instance, when you stopped driving, that was gradually changing anyway. So I don't feel that was as bigger impact on me. But I think the first time seeing you with a cymbal cane, that was like, oh, that's different.
Yeah.
And going on trains and sort of the difficulties and those sort of things. And then when you went on to the white cane, seeing you with the white cane, it felt like there was this progression happening.
Yeah.
But it didn't really hit me as this big change. But I think when we got Chester, and we're seeing you with him for the first time, there was two things. First one, oh, my husband is actually blind. And the second one was the look on your face and the confidence I hadn't seen in probably about 2 years.
Yeah.
And so I think for me that I was going through this like emotional roller coaster
Mm.
because not that I'd ever talk to you about it because it was stuff that was going on for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was this two things. It was like this big smack in the face of going, oh yeah, this is real. This isn't changing.
Mm.
I can't keep going through the motions. And I remember getting really quite emotional. It took me a good hour or so to kind of process what I'd just seen.
Yeah. And the thing, and see, this is the weird thing, isn't it, about the dog? Is he, he, and it's not just Chess, I'm sure it'd be all guide dogs, but they are just, they become integral. They become such an ingrained part of life, not just because of what mobility they give and the independence and the freedom and all of that, but because of what that it's the other side of things. It's the emotional support that they give. It's the companionship, and actually, it's the commitment as well.
Yeah.
He has needs. If I'm not working, or if I haven't got to go out, and if I've got a busy day working, I've still got to get out of the house because he needs to go and get exercise. He's got a lot of energy. He's a young dog. He needs his exercise and he needs his stimulation. And he gets a lot from being at home with Oz anyway, because they're fighting and playing all the time, and they absolutely love playing together. But he still needs that exercise and that mental stimulation, and it does in a way, and it's great because actually he almost forces me to be out more.
Yeah.
I'm going to be out with him anyway, and that's if I'm not, then I'm going to get in trouble with people. So it's important to, but he does, and actually that's great because that really does drive and give that extra sort of benefit to us as well. And he's a fantastic part of the family, isn't he? I mean, the kids love him.
Yeah.
And and rightly so. He's a gorgeous lad.
He's a gorgeous little boy.
He is.
But I think seeing the difference between, because I think it's important to sort of see when you went on the cane and your vision had got to that point, how isolating and how anxious you were on the cane. And I think maybe that's why when you got Chester, how much it hit me, because I'd seen you walking through spaces not knowing where you were going, what was in front of you.
Yeah.
Because the cane, I'm guessing, is quite hard to distinguish if there's obstacles or...
It's mentally exhausting. I was chatting to this week. I was chatting with Stu, and he was saying about because he's building his cane work back up again, and it is exhausting. It's mentally and physically exhausting because you've got so much that you have to concentrate on. With the dog, he's just away and he does it. There's no worrying about finding curbs, no worrying about bumping into things, there's worry about anything at all, because he's just there and he's away and he's running. Whereas with the cane, there's so much more that you've got to focus on, and it's draining. It's mentally exhausting, because there is so much that you've got to focus on. It really is, yeah. Yeah, interesting. And of course, and so talking about the site and talking about that, of course, the thing is, and this is where you and I have had so many conversations about all of this, because it is a genetic condition.
Yeah.
And there is a risk. We don't like to think about it, but there is a risk that one or other of the kids could have the same mutation that I have.
Yeah.
And we talked about this years ago when you found out about your BRCA, and that was it feels like it felt like we're going through that same process again, doesn't it? And it's really
I think we've had to do it. We're having to do it twice, if you like, because first time, okay, I find out I've got the BRCA2 cancer gene,
yeah,
which the kids have a 50% chance of having that gene.
yeah,
And now, obviously, we've got your gene that's connected with your eyesight, and the fact that the kids, again, there's a chance they could carry it. It's not guaranteed.
no. But it is interesting. But this one is different, isn't it? Because with the BRCA, it's important.
Yeah.
You have we need the kids. Well, it's up to them, and it's their decision to make when they turn 18. I mean, Kyra decided that she did want to, and so and so she has gone through the process. William is going to be a very different conversation again because of his autism and because of just being able to help him to understand on that is going to be a very different approach. But nonetheless, no less important. But the thing is with that is that carries an extremely high risk, doesn't it? I mean, it's almost guaranteed that you're going to get breast cancer, ovarian cancer, testicular. Is it for boys?
Yeah. No, it's prostate.
Prostate
Cancer.
Yeah. So it's highly likely.
Yeah.
And so it's important to do that because then if you know, then you can put steps in place and you can do things about it.
Yeah.
With mine, it's not, it doesn't matter, but because there's nothing that can be done about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's there, it's a condition. There's no prevention, there's no cure, there's absolutely nothing that can be done. So it's a little bit of a case of what's the point? Unless it is impacting on you. So unless one of the kids is actually finding that their eyesight is, or the opticians are a bit worried that something is going on and they need to do something and they need to research it. Unless there's anything like that, it's kind of actually the best thing is just to let it go.
Yeah. And that's kind of the advice that we've got from the local hospital about William.
Yeah.
Is that they're going to review it when he's 18.
Yeah.
Because at that point, they'll be able to gauge definitely more of an idea of whether or not his eyesight is actually degrading and whether or not it's worth doing anything about.
Yeah. And again, you look at the how intrusive the test is.
Yeah.
The obviously the genetic test is a blood test. That's nothing there. But actually, to confirm the condition, it is such an intrusive test that, and it's exhausting. That actually, unless there's a real need to, we had them done up at Great Ormond Street, didn't we? But was it about 3 years ago?
Yeah.
And that
did not go well.
That did not go well. No, it really, really didn't go well at all. But he, that was an adapted version.
Yeah.
To go through the full test, there's probes all around your face, all around your eyes, and it's
something out of a science fiction film.
Yeah, I liken it to Clockwork Orange. The only thing that's missing is Beethoven's Fifth. It's all the flashing lights and all of that going on. I mean, it is just, it's like I think they just reprogrammed my brain.
Maybe,
possibly not for the better though.
Well, I don't know.
Oh dear. Yeah. Okay. It's probably best to move on from there, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh God. So you going back to what we were talking about earlier. We'll go back to sort of how that first time that you noticed with chess. What? How do I word this? How do I question this? There were dark days.
Yeah. Yeah.
There were really dark days.
There's been quite a few dark days. I'd say probably when you first got diagnosed, there was a lot of conversations where it was sort of this, what's going to happen? You know, what is it going to be like for me?
Yeah.
And I think that was okay. There was a constant, I suppose, anxiety around what your site was doing.
Yeah.
And especially when you were on the medical license, there was a lot of, am I still safe to drive? You could see for you, there was just this consistent anxiety and worry and overthinking and a lot of over judging yourself, because I think your vision was degrading at that point.
Yeah.
You know, there's been lots of memories of us standing in the kitchen with a Snellen eye chart on the back of our door, us going through that process. But I also think in the last 5 years, I've seen ups and downs, anxieties, impacts of society
Yeah.
not being able to adapt to what you need.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that then contributes to you feeling more isolated. You become more quiet, you become more withdrawn. You start getting short-tempered.
Yeah.
And all of those things of just feeling overwhelmed by everything. And it's almost the spiral that I see, kind of, you have this dips, it's almost like on a 4 to 6 week rota.
Oh God, that frequent. Oh no.
Or not so much that it's every 4 to 6 weeks, but the spiral will probably last about 6 weeks. And
Understood.
then
Okay.
that makes more sense.
That makes more sense.
But yeah, it's seeing those signs when they first happened. You were just frustrated and angry because you weren't able to do the things you used to be able to do.
Yeah.
And so there was a lot of that in the beginning, and a lot of your people can never understand what you're going through. And we will never be able to understand what you're going through because it's not happening to us.
Yeah.
We can sympathise, but we can't fully empathise.
Yeah. No, understood.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense. It does.
And so you definitely became a lot more isolated when you were on the cane.
Yeah.
There's some really, dark days and times when I said to you, and I got to a point where I was like, I think you need to talk to someone.
Yeah.
Because I could just see that everything was becoming a reality. And it was really tough to watch because I knew I couldn't do anything to help you. I couldn't do everything for you.
Yeah.
And so it was really, really difficult for me because I had to learn to not take over and do everything for you. For me, it was such a big learning curve.
Well, there was that little bit of because, obviously it had always been a partnership, but, there have been, like, again, when you had to have your surgery and things like that.
Yeah.
Even just when you had to have your knee surgeries and and
I've had
stuff.
so many surgeries.
You really have. I know. You've definitely you're close to getting a full set. Your next one's definitely free, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Although NHS and all that, but I think it feels like it's become a bit of a role reversal.
Yeah, I would definitely agree.
Yeah,
The roles have definitely reversed. I was always the sort of the anxious and the person that I suppose would allow people to do things for me, or I would always second guess myself and feeling unsure about things. And all of a sudden, that role was being reversed, and
yeah,
you were the person that was unsure,
yeah,
and you were the person that was asking me, is this okay?
yeah,
What's this space like?
yeah,
Can I cross the road? You know, all of a sudden I had to become, I almost took over this different role, which for me was, it took me I reckon a good 6 months to kind of
yeah,
really, I suppose, feel my way into my new role
yeah,
of, okay, I can't just go out and just assume you're going to read the map because I know I can't.
yeah,
And, you know, having to plan journeys and having to make sure we've got this, and this.
yeah.
The roles were definitely different. But yeah.
And right, so question for you then. So so you're a qualified mental health counsellor
Yes.
and have been now for 6 years, 7 years?
7.
7 years, bloody hell.
I know.
How?
Who would have thought?
Yeah. Don't be silly. How do you think that has changed things?
Massive. For me, massively, because it's given me the knowledge, but also as a therapist, therapists see therapists.
Yeah.
Which is, a lot of people don't realise that.
Yeah.
And through doing that, it gave me the space to, especially when things were quite dark,
Yeah.
that's what I would do. Because if I'm not right, I can't be there for the other people that do need me. And so, but also it gave me, I suppose, the knowledge and skills and things that I could use on myself some of the time.
Yeah.
Because there's other times where I don't want to look at that.
Yeah.
And then there's other times where I then go, no, I need to look at that. And so, but also it's enabled me to give you tools of things to do to help with anxiety, to help with worrying, to help with processing things. And I think, being a counsellor, it's just given me the tools, a little kit bag, if you like.
Yeah.
And I always remember when I was training that they talked about this visualization of turning up from like a mountain hike and turning up with flip-flops on and shorts and t-shirt, no first aid kit, no backpack, no tools whatsoever.
Yeah.
And you're going, right, I'm going to go and hike up this mountain.
Yeah.
With what? And then you explore kind of going into the shop, getting all the tools, getting the things that you need that's going to enable you to complete that hike.
Yeah.
And so that is one thing that's I've always remembered with our journey, is that making sure that as time goes on, I accumulate that toolkit that's going to help you, that's going to help me, that's going to help the kids.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of, I suppose, a different viewpoint on it.
No, but it's true, because it is. It's that, yeah, you're not going to need everything all the time.
No.
And so it's having those strategies, techniques, call it what you will, in your arsenal, in your back pocket to drag out as and when you need them. You know, if you're noticing, if I'm noticing I'm having a blip, or if I'm having a serious, a Charles Bonnet moment, it's funny. And again, you know, it's Charles Bonnet is one of those really weird, things, because it's they're visual hallucinations, but they're not mental. There's not because something has gone wrong as such. That's the wrong terminology. But it's where essentially the signal has come in, and the brain has just interpreted it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So, and you know, different people see different things, and you know, people do. Again, talking to Stu, I mean, he was saying that somebody he knows, and they see, you know, they see men hiding around corners. This is a woman, and she sees men hiding around corners and hiding behind curtains and stuff, which is really just nuts. And well, you know, but it can be massively disconcerting and really quite scary.
Yeah.
I mean, I see dog walkers all the time. It's just like Sixth Sense, isn't it? I see dog walkers all the time. But I do. When I'm out, it's like today when we were walking the dogs this morning. Yeah, there was one bit. I think there was a big branch or something leant up against a tree. I was about to say thank you to it as we walked past, until I realised, it's like, oh, okay, it's just a branch. But it looked like, because it just looked like someone leaning against a tree, and but it's just your brain interpreting because the signal's not coming in correctly, because whether it's basically because there's a problem with for me the cones receiving and interpreting that signal, and they're not able to do it properly. It means that the brain needs to piece things back together, and it can't quite, because it hasn't got all the information. It can't piece it together properly, and so it just makes it up, fills in the gaps, but does it a bit wrong.
And sometimes I see it. Sometimes you'll have this look on your face, and I sort of, now that I've had more experience of being with someone that has sight loss,
Yeah.
all of a sudden you have this look, and I go, what do you think you're seeing? And you go, is that?
Yeah.
And I go, no, not even close. But there's always a look that you have when you're having a Charles Bonnet day. Because some days you don't have them as much.
Yeah. Well,
The early days was when the halos and all the, I don't know what you call them.
the flashers and the floaters and everything.
Flashes and the floaters. And,
they're still there.
but I think those you've adapted to, you're like, that's just part of my normal life now.
I've started to name them.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, exactly. I've got different each floater. I mean, anyway, let's not go there. Each one has, because they're always there, and it's funny because I can sit there, and I can, if I blink in the right way, I can make them, because basically they go down across my vision, and if I blink in the right way, I can't see any at the moment, so I can't make it do it. I can almost make them dance. It's quite fun. If I'm in a meeting, which I'm not really in, something like that. If there's something I not, even helps me pass the time. Sometimes it's.
It's like people that visualise like crossword puzzles.
Yeah. I play with my floaters.
Yeah. That just sounds
It just sounds
wrong.
very wrong. Very, very wrong. I think we need to move on.
Yes, I think so too. Because this conversation's got really dark really quickly.
Oh, dear me. See, I think, and this is something which I think we need to pick up on. Because there's always that what if, what's going to happen, what's going to happen next, and there's the unknown, there's the future, and and that's again, that's the way it is. I mean, you could get hit by a bus tomorrow. You could just life is just, you don't know what is going to throw at you, what the world is going to throw at you, and so one thing I think that my site has, it feels like it's definitely taught me, is go for it. Don't hold back. Don't and I think that from where I was, hopefully, I mean, you can see a change there, but hopefully, where it was that I wouldn't even go down the shops. I'd be, that's right, it's easier, it's quicker. We need something from the shops, and it's much quicker for you to go, so that's all right, which was only an excuse because I just didn't want to go out. But I've started to look at what we have done actually since my sight has gone, or since I've been registered severely sight impaired. You think about it. That France trip that we took, we took the train down to Corsica. We wouldn't have done that.
No.
It would all have been, it's a bit too expensive. No, let's not do it. It's outside of our means. The road trip we did around around the US, the Grand Canyon and all of that. Yeah. Messing about with podcasting equipment, spending a fortune on microphones. But all of these things actually, I think it's become, at least for me anyway, it's become more apparent that these things, you just don't know what's going to turn around the corner. And actually, you do have to live in that moment. Yeah. And you do have to push it forward, and you do have to just go, because then you've got the memories.
Yeah. And no regrets. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think about, that Grand Canyon trip, that was just, when we sat on the rim, sat on the rim, and you got the sun going down.
You're having kittens.
Yeah. Don't know where Kyra's gone to, because she's around. She's just climbing around the rocks, taking photos here, there, and everywhere. But just those memories of that, and going through like Antelope Canyon, going on the boat up the raft around around the Horseshoe Bend, San Francisco, Death Valley, all of that. I mean, San Francisco was just phenomenal. And just all of that. I mean, so many memories on that trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you drove a hell of a long way in that trip. But I think that we wouldn't have done it.
No, we wouldn't have done. We'd have gone, whoa, that's way out of our budget. That's never going to happen.
We'll do it next year.
Yeah, we'll do it next year. And we would have kept putting it off. And we'd never have done it. Yeah. Or never have done it, at least until, the kids had left home and it was just the two of us.
Yeah.
Then possibly we may have done something along those lines. But I definitely feel since being diagnosed as severely sight impaired, I think we definitely do more things that's more risky. And we're definitely doing things we would never ever have done if this hadn't happened.
Yeah.
We'd have just carried on the carousel of life
Yeah.
and just not got off the carousel.
Yeah. No, I think we would have done. Of course, this is why next year, we got the advantage where my little brother was getting married, of course.
Yes.
But we're gonna do some of them along the East Coast, and we'll do a few cities. We'll do a few bits down there on the journey down to go and see him. And you know what? Why not?
Yeah.
Just take it and do it, and it gives the kids the experience. It gives us those experiences, and it is those things. Yeah, not long after I got diagnosed, I wrote a list, didn't I, of places that I wanted to see before my sight went completely. And for years, that sat in my wallet and did nothing.
Yeah.
And actually, we're just starting to tick it all off now.
Because we looked last year going, where do we want to go on holiday next year? And I remember saying to you, what's on your list?
Yeah.
Let's start having a decent look at that list.
Well, we did. I mean, we had things that we had to do around the house and all of that. Right? So, which was important and needed to be done. But I remember last summer, because we didn't really have a holiday, it was like, we've got to do something next year.
Yeah.
We've got to get away. And, and just took that trip. And it was, for you, that must have been, because you had to drive everywhere.
Yeah.
And never driven in the US.
No, I was absolutely petrified.
Yeah. And then, first thing, we landed at like 8:00 at night, landed into Las Vegas, and then you're having to drive up the strip to find our hotel. Talk about a baptism of fire.
And the sat-nav didn't work.
And the sat-nav wasn't working because the GPS was out because we were around the airport and all of that.
That was fun.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm in the middle of Las Vegas. All these hotels around me. It's here somewhere.
But then the next day, we're driving over Hoover Dam.
Yeah. That was absolutely just...
Yeah.
I don't think I stopped to reflect on... Because we did it over a short period. We did it over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And every day we were in a different city, almost.
No, yeah, near enough, yeah.
Near enough. And just each drive I was just trying to absorb what I was seeing.
Yeah.
Because almost each part had a different scenery.
Yeah. Well, when we went from, coming out of Vegas, we got out of Vegas really quickly, and then we're going down through Hoover Dam.
Thank God.
Yeah. And then, of course, after Hoover Dam, we then went on and we stayed at Kingman, which was just that little city on the end of Route 66. Before then, massive change of scenery to get onto the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
And then going round the canyon up towards Page, out into the middle of the sort of Utah, Arizona desert around Lake Powell, and then and then we're coming almost down into the mountains when we came down to Flagstaff, didn't we?
Yeah.
And then we're properly in the foothills and everything around Sedona, and then we're back into desert, and you got real cactus around Phoenix. Never seen real cactus before. And every single step had a completely different vibe to it, a completely different thing to it, and it was just an amazing 2 weeks. And things that the kids will remember. I mean, William still talks about it now.
He does. Talks about how cold San Francisco was.
Yeah, how he liked the cold of San Francisco but didn't like the heat of Death Valley.
No, he says he doesn't ever want to go back to Death Valley ever again because it was too hot.
I mean, it was. I mean, it was, 48 degrees, 47 degrees?
It was something like, what was it? It was 115 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
Which is about 46 degrees.
Yeah, 46. I mean, it was the hottest place because there were weather warnings, weren't there,
Yeah.
while we were there, and it was the hottest place on the planet whilst we were there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, because I kept seeing this weather warning, and I was like, for what? It's sunshine. For us as Brits, a weather warning is because there's a storm coming.
Yeah, yeah. More rain.
Or there's rain or wind or something along those lines. Not for heat.
Yeah. Not that level of heat.
No. It was extremely
It
hot.
was, wasn't it? Yeah.
But no, it's definitely the Grand Canyon is always that view is always gonna stick in my mind.
Mm.
And just the drive through the mountains, and when we went down to Phoenix,
Yeah.
driving on a motorway through Phoenix is nothing I've ever experienced before in my life. You go from 3 lanes to 6 lanes.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. But this is the thing. I mean, and it is all, it's not thanks to, but as a result of where we are now,
Yeah.
it's pushed us to do these things, and I think it has done it for the better, and it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
It's been a hard journey, and
Yeah.
and I think there have been, and there still are, some extremely dark days, but there are, looking at those memories that we're now pulling together, I think it's going in the right direction.
Yeah.
I mean, the site's going in the wrong direction, but I think everything else is going in the right direction. I don't know what you think.
Yeah. I think we're doing a lot more positive things. And when things are bad, we're doing things to support each other.
Yeah.
I know we haven't done them for a little while because you've been in a good space, but when you're not, we almost do these daily check-ins.
Yeah.
Of checking in with each other and more. And I think I've started to sort of really see when you're not okay. For a long time, I couldn't really see them until they were happening.
Yeah.
And now I start to see them really early on because I start asking you, how are you doing? How, are you okay?
Yeah.
Because I'm seeing that you're finding things more difficult. You're getting more overwhelmed. And just doing those check-ins.
Yeah.
Just enable me to know that, where you are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because we can get wrapped up in our own little world with work and family and...
Yeah. It's so easy to get stuck in the bubble, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just going on and just trying to just trying to push it all forward and not taking that time to sit back, to reflect, to check in. And the thing is, and if we don't, the difficulty is if we don't do it, then what ends up happening is suddenly you end up with that oh shit moment where you end up in crisis very quickly.
Yeah.
And then that's not good for anybody.
No. And you end up just drifting into this numbness and this non-entity of life where one day is the same as the next day.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you wake up and it's like, how did I get here?
Yeah.
And I think that's when depression can come in. And I think that was for you, definitely, because every day was the same as the next.
Yeah.
You weren't going out. You were isolated. You were doing all of these things.
Sorry, I've just realised. No, you're right. You keep talking.
Okay.
I've got the video recording on now. I've got the GoPro plugged in, but
Yeah.
I've turned the microphone level down, so that's not got any audio coming through. Oops.
Dumbass.
Hey. All right, I did everything else right.
I know.
One thing, you make one little mistake. Sorry, carry on.
I've lost my track of thought now. But yeah, that mundane, when people are in that depression, it's a very numb kind of one level.
Yeah.
And everything, every day, you try and think, today will be different.
Yeah.
Tomorrow's going to be different. And you keep doing that. Tomorrow's going to be a good day. And then tomorrow's not a good day. And so that ends up just keep going. But then when all of a sudden you got to a point go, I can't keep doing this.
Yeah.
You know, I'm getting short with you and getting short with the kids. Something's got to change. You went into therapy and that really helped. And then you started noticing it more and more for yourself.
Yeah.
Which I think is good for anyone.
It was definitely better for what was going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yes. Right. I think we could keep going, but it's
Yes.
we've got to cook dinner.
Yes. We've got to do family stuff.
We've got to do family stuff. We've got to make sure that there's not. I'm sure that you might well have been able to. People might well have been able to hear at one point William running around the garden for a sec. Thankfully, the dogs haven't barked yet. I wonder if Kai's fed them.
Quite likely.
Let's hope so.
Well, we'll soon find out.
Yeah. When we go in and they pounce on us.
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, and that's us for today. It has been a different one, but I've really enjoyed it. It's been personal. There's been a few laughs. There's been a few lumps in the throat. Have there? Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. But it is life, isn't it? And you know what? It's messy and it's emotional and it's funny and it does everything all at the same time. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
It's been, and thank you for being so open as well. It's been, as I say, you've been there with me through every appointment, every bit of uncertainty, oh my God, where are my glasses? But we've somehow managed to keep each other grounded,
Yeah.
I think.
Just.
So if people are listening and they're going through something similar or supporting someone who is, I hope that this chat reminds you that it is okay to feel all of these things. Frustration, love, laughter, and hope, because it is all part of the journey. So thanks for listening to this blind bloke and his wife talking about life. And until next time, take care, keep smiling, and remember, sometimes the toughest moments bring out the best in us and in the people who walk beside us. Thank you.